Gods will fall. This game has a parry, so it makes it into parry review. This is actually a fun little game. The dodge button is the parry button. You want to dodge directly into enemies' attack in order to parry them. And that's it, that's basically the entire depth of the combat. What makes this game fun is the level design, and the fact that the combat is actually fun. Sure, the game is very simple, and there's not a lot of depth to the combat, but it has a parry, and I don't know, I just like killing enemies in this game. It's fun. This is what the overworld looks like. Those are all the characters you can play as. What you do is you stand in front of caves, and then you pick which warrior is going to go inside of the cave. If you die inside of the cave, the next warrior goes in, or you can just leave that cave and go to another cave. But the game is basically that. You're all Nords, and you raid caves. When you get further along into the game, the combat becomes less about parrying and more about just attacking enemies, because some enemies will gank you, and parrying will become irrelevant because there's so many enemies that why even bother parrying? And so when you at least kill like 2 enemies, and there's less enemies ganking you, that's when you want to start parrying. I would prefer if the game just let you, be like a one-man army of sort, and you kinda are, except for when there's too many enemies. Like, you can fight off 2 or 3 enemies, no problem. But if you're fighting 4 or 5 enemies, you have to line them up and start using cheap tactics. The parry's not amazing, but it's good enough to where I can say that I like it and it's useful. However, you can only parry if you're staring directly at the enemy. If you input any other direction and press the parry button, you're gonna dodge. You're gonna do like this little sidestep. You want to dodge right into enemies' attacks, right into their face. And that's how you successfully parry. You can parry the bosses. This character I'm using now has a buff that when you parry, you gain increased attack for a few seconds. This guy's easily my favorite character just because he gets attack bonus when you parry. And that's all the game is. You just go into caves, which is like a dungeon basically, and you just kill enemies. You can throw weapons as well. When you kill an enemy and he drops his weapon, you can pick up his weapon and just throw it, and it's honestly the best attack in the whole game. You can one-shot lots of regular enemies just by throwing weapons. And now I'm gonna fight the boss. You can parry the boss. The boss was kinda easy, I'm not gonna lie. I just parried her and did the heavy attack. I'm gonna be generous and give this game like a 6 out of 10 across the board. The game is maybe more like a 5 out of 10, but I can't complain because the game does what I want it to do and it has a parry. So 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching, take care, and enjoy.